Welcome to another inspiring episode of Stories Untold. Today we feature a man who's a rape survivor and ex-convicted murderer who turned his life around. Meet Mlungisi Zondi from KwaMashu. It all started with petty crimes here and there, but ended up with a life sentence.
South Africa has a prison population of over 150,000 inmates. Some of those held behind bars are waiting to be released and reintegrated into their communities. However, one of the major challenges ex-convicts face in this country is stigma and discrimination from the community. Mlungisi Zondi was arrested for murder and armed robbery and served 10 years in prison. He attributes his life of crime from growing up in the deep rural areas of KZN and him being raised by a single parent who was a drug addict.
Igama lami ngingumlungisi ngokwabazali sibongo kaZondi. Ngikholele ekutheni wonke umama wonke umzali methu umntwana igama usuke nethemba usuke nezifiso zenhloso ngamagama ethu. Nami abazali bami bangethu kwathi ngingumlungisi. Ngizama ngawo wonke amandla ami ukuba umlungisi entsheni yakithi naseNingizimu Afrika. Ngokuzala umfana wale KwaMashu esinqanqaweni kwaMshazafi la izinto zenzeka khona. Ngikhuliseke mina ke singiparent ngifirst born einganeni ekhaya ezo7 ngikhuliswa umama ubaba ngimazi 22 kodwa lokho akungi-affect. Yes. Ngikhuliswa umama obe extra editor besebenzisa ama drugs uma wami yimina loyo ngizalwa nje eKZN kwaZulu Natal kodwa ngecebo likaNkulunkulu sengihlala la eMamelodi.
With the lack of good role models and absent parents, Mlungisi was drawn into the life of crime and drugs at a young age. That is when he first experienced prison life.
Khuluma ungena kwami ebugebengweni ngingeniswe ukuthi 1 ubaba bengamazi ukuqala lokho. Mhlawumbe kuba wayekhona ubaba mhlawumbe ngabe indlela yami ayingena ngejele. Number 2 ukuhlangana nabangani abarong. Kunabantu empilweni zethu esiphatha nje abangani bethu kanti bagqokele isikhumba sethu bazodutshisa impilo zethu wena khona usho ubabona. Kunomuntu manje osajele uboshela into engayazi. Inkinga uthola le ndawo ne-wrong isikhathi esi-wrong ehamba nabantu abarong. Number 3 bengifuna ukufida i-habit yama drugs ngoba mase uyi-drug addict wenza noma yini ukuze uzokhona. Ngoba thina besingena sibambe inkunzi shemini singene emajaldini abantu. Ukuze sokhona ukuthola izinto esingakhona ukuyidayisa ukuze uzokhona ukwenza njani ufide ihabit yama drugs iyona into yangiholela ukuthi ngingene edakamizweni.
Mlungisi's behavior landed him in holding cells at a very young age. At 18 years old, he was sentenced to life imprisonment. That was the beginning of his problems.
Angiqalanga ngavele ngajumpa ngazoqhamuka sesokubamba inkunzi amen robbery murder no. Besishaya ama-theft sishaya house robbery nama-theft emzini yabantu ngoba sifuna ukufida le habit up until saze safika kule heist enkulu le amen robbery ngenhlanhlana ngebhadi ekhaya KZN ngalesa sikhathi ibhamu betholakala lula vele sikhulele endaweni zezimpi ukuthi le section ayizwana le section vele ibhamu zilula manje nathi besithi masithi siyongena emzini womuntu siyaqhekeza senze house breaking sivuke nesibhamu besithola kanjalo ke kwesinye isikhathi ibhamu ilapho kusathatha khona decision ukuthi yazini asambe kodwa besinomuntu ongaphakathi le owasinikeza yonke information yangaphakathi eShoprite ukuthi ngosuku lokuthi imali ingaka kwenzakalani sangena masingena saba nenhlanhla nebhadi ke ngoba sathi masiphuma saphuma na amaphoyisa akusaphumeke eminyango manje ungasaphumeka kubeza ukuthi ufanele ukuvula indlela ufanele ukudubula mawudubula zaphela inhlamvu zegebengu mangiphela inhlamvu zegebengu kwabeza ukuthi asisarenda ukuze uzokhona ukusurvive kwabeza ukuthi asilale phansi sasarenda sasurvive kanjalo sabanjwa saboshwa.
He was arrested and sentenced for murder and armed robbery. He thought his life was over when he contracted HIV after being sexually assaulted in prison.
First day mina masengingenile ejele mhlambe sengihlale 10 days ngaphakathi ejele ngenze appeal ne ngisalindele appeal ila ngibe khona ivictim rape khona ngaphakathi ejele. First day bengana choice nokwesibili futhi bengana choice nje bangibamba ngenkanje ngilele ebusuku bekhona abantu ngaphakathi ejele ejele-ke yingakho first day mawungena ejele ama-prison wade akutshena ukuthi inaka ithikithi lakho awunaki into eyenzeka ngale kolomunye umbhede mina ngidlengulwa abanye abantu abayibiza ngama-gangsterism abayibiza ngama-28 vele umsebenzi wabo ngaphakathi ejele. Umfana kunesikhathi ejele la ama-prison wade ethetha khona icala ukuthi ubani usethatha intombi yami, ubani usethatha intombi yami ngaphakathi ejele. Bengana-choice. Kwangathi ngiyaphupha ngilele. Ngoba omunye wayengibambela, omunye ngibambe ngala, engana-choice. Bashintshana ngami, ngangana-choice. Ngafisa ukuvuka ekuseni ukuyobika, ngasabela impilo yami ngoba isiposho sihlala nomesa ngaphakathi eswini. Ngabona ukuthi uma ngavuka ekuseni, ngoba bangitshela uma ngavuka ekuseni bazonginqoma. Ngathi ngcono ngifele ngaphakathi. Ngaphinde okwesibili. Ngingana-choice nakhona. Shuthi lento yinto yabo vele baphila ngayo isegazini lento ihamba namanzi obumnyama ngaphakathi ejele. Ngadlula abantu abayi2. Kwangithatha isikhathi ngazama ngaphakathi ejele ukufuna umuntu ozongitshela ukuthi Mlungisi ngikhohlwa njani, ngidlula njani kule simo engibhekene naso. Ngizamile ukufuna i-social worker ama-psychologist ukuthi ngikhone ukuheala or ngikhone ukudlula kule simo. Ngahluleka. Ilapho ke okay ngaphakathi kunama-NGO kunabo-nurse. Benganawo ama-symptoms e-HIV. Kodwa kwafika isikhathi ngenxa yokuthi ngi-attend ama-program e-HIV ngaphakathi ejele. Ila umqondo wami warealize khona ukuthi angithatha i-decision nami ngitest. Mangitest la ngithole khona ukuthi ngami-HIV positive. Ngahluleka uku-accept. Mangihluleka uku-accept la ngizame khona uku-commit suicide.
After 2 failed suicide attempts, he realized he had a purpose to serve and a reason to live.
Empilweni ngeke kulapha abantu abalimele ungazilimali. Angeke utshene umuntu ngendlela ungayazi. Sometimes uNkulunkulu mayefuna ukusebenzisa wena uyakuphula aqala ukukhipha ubuwena. Yingakho ngithi ukuboshwa kwami ukuba ngiyangejela ngaba nguyena lo muntu onguyena. Manje kwangisiza ukuboshwa kwami la ngarealize khona ukuthi wonke umuntu mayezalo uzalwe nepurpose. Nami ngi-understand yonke leminyaka benga-understand ukuthi why abazali bami bathi ngumlungisi. Kodwa today ngiya-understand ukuthi uNkulunkulu kunento something. Wenza ngamasibomu uNkulunkulu wathi Mlungisi ngene ejele, dlongula Mlungisi, phila ne-HIV, ngene ema-drugsini ukuze uzobuya uzosiza le youth ekhona. Manje ngibhizi ngezikole around South Africa, ngihamba everywhere. Ngihamba zonke izikole, ngine-access ezikole, ngine-access emajele to motivate, to share nabantu abasha. Kuzo zonke lezi zinto ezi-affect isizwe nomphakathi. Abantu abasha balimele, abantu bayibulala, abantu i-GBV. I'm-a-survivor GBV, ngidlongula ama-2.5. Abantu abafuna ukukhuluma. Ngumuntu oqala eSouth Africa wesilisa waphumela obala ukuthi I was raped. Nginabantu abaningi treat today engisengasizile abaphumela obala. I-challenge enginayo since ngaphumela obala 2012 futhi I was raped. Abantu besilisa eSouth Africa bangena u-inbox wami ko-Facebook bangishele. Ngiyabatshela ukuthi guys angisiyona igame mina. No. Ngisuke ngizama ukuthi kuyadluleka kule simo. Uma ngikhonile mina ukudlula wena ungahlulwa yini?
While in prison, sanity prevailed and Mlungisi started documenting his life experiences behind bars. Upon his release on parole, he started a foundation which seeks to sway young people from the life of crime and substance abuse.
Upon getting his freedom back, 34-year-old Mlungisi decided to turn his life around for the better. He wrote a few books and started a foundation that seeks to teach the community about the life of crime and drugs.
Kwi-foundation sisebenza nawo wonke ama-stakeholder ka-government. Ngabe social, ngabe health, ngabe correctional, nani. Senza sure sidila nge-prevention for HIV and AIDS, GBV, anti-substance abuse. Kodwa sifocuse kakhulu kubantu abasha. Sine-program enye futhi esiyenzayo, i-coach impilo program. I-program leyo ilidwa ama-activists abantu abalive nge-HIV. Owethu umsebenzi ukukhuthaza labantu ukuthi nakho kuyaphileka. Uma ngikhona mina ukusurvive 18 years ungahlula. Ukwenza sure ukuthi amadoda siphusha u-95 sithi amadoda awateste, amadoda awaqala i-treatment, amadoda babe suppressed.
Mlungisi has touched a few individuals' lives and influenced them positively. They find him relatable and easy to work with. Thus, they believe he has a gift with people.
My name is Mahau Mtetwa. Mlungisi is my colleague. Re tlhakana spanning. Mo mmerekong wa coach impilo. Re bereka ka banna da who are on the journey of HIV, who are starting, who are on the journey. Who is a net fella the psychosocial aspect or normal the suppression for them to understand also journey and then I wanna flop motho wa khona phela ka bophelo ba HIV but yeah mainly ke meetse za mmereko Mlungisi He's a positive person with regards to building people. Energy and utlisa a lot of hope to a lot of men, especially because spanning and even outside. History high toloka ki history e ka o demoralizang ki history ka irang o ska o feeling ga wa itse gore man nearly that sentence for you, but now utsuhile from that, and it's not for everyone who can wake up from a position where he was. And today I am proud to can say he's a change maker, like he's a change agent. Firstly, and he's also changing a lot of lives, so especially Lorena as his colleagues.
Ngigcina ngihlala 10 years ejail. Ngi-extra editor ngibuye emgwaqeni for 3 years, ngibuya kunyaphe for 7 years. Aswadleni amaphilisi, ube muhle, ube suppress. Siphusha lento ka 95 sithi amadoda wa test. Yabo? Amadoda ayisabi clinic. Yabo?
He's a selfless person, a radical individual, a person who is not afraid to speak about his background, especially being a man that is coming from a rural area in KZN. And with the traditional way and cultural arrangement we have in society, that a man is supposed to be strong, a man is supposed to be a pillar, a man must not be weak, and majority of time were weakened by the circumstances. So he didn't allow the circumstances he comes from to define him. He came out of them. So he is an individual that went through, like any other young person in any community, a peer pressure arrangement where he belonged to a group of gangsters, which of course gangsters can be defined differently, but these ones were advancing a program of criminality where he found himself belonging to such. That led to him going through the murders and being imprisoned. And then while he's in prison, he was then raped by at least 5 men. He almost more than 3 times tried to commit suicide, simply because of the circumstances he went through, the depression, and all the societal arrangement that will define someone who is an ex-offender. Through God's blessing, because everything we do is God's guidance. He got out of parole, through parole, and he is now actively participating to try and conscientize men. The young men who might belong to gangsterism, young men who might be belonging to the substance, abuse, and the young men who are abusing their partners, the young men who are just vulnerable.
Integrating back into society as an ex-offender can be difficult, and societal stigma and rejection can lead one back to the life of crime. Mlungisi found a spiritual mother, Pastor Tamane in Tembisa, who welcomed him with warm hands and started working with him to educate people about the life of crime.
The actual connection, it was God intervening. For an example, and this is what I was thinking of at some point, to say, with Mlungisi, he's a son to us, as he's submitting under us, as we're having that relationship with him. You can imagine bringing him in your household, introducing him to your children, yet knowing his story, what he has been through. But because, I don't know how it happened, but we gave him a chance. We have trusted him. And hence I'm saying, one thing that has drawn me to him, together no baba, it is the honesty in him. And another thing that I love about him, he has a relationship with God. He has that divine, personal relationship with God. When he speaks life himself. So the church, because we are leading the church, immediately when we embraced him, immediately when we accepted him, they trusted us. They knew very well we cannot bring somebody that can harm them, into their space. When we have brought, because we first built the relationship with him before we can introduce him into the community, or moreover into the church, because we've got young people, and today he's doing counseling in the same church. He's into young youth programs in the very same church, and he has been playing a great role into the church and also the community itself.
Since 2012 mina mangiphuma ejele ngisurvivor uNkulunkulu ngivusela abantu nginabafundisi nginomfundisi wami ethembisa kodwa uhlala eDavidton Pastor Damani Apostle Damani bayangisupporta nabo ijourney yakho ukuthi ngihlangane nabo kuyicebo likaNkulunkulu ibona abathole mina kusimina ngithole bona yasiya connecta lento nje ngumntwana wabo ngisupportwa imkhulu kabantu ebese ngisizwa ngama colleagues abafowethu engisebenza nabo esihamba nabo lendlela bethi Mlungisi ungagive up.
Mlungisi's journey has been a difficult one, and the pastor relates more to him as she also went through a horrible experience before.
I have seen that, it has not been easy, even when he's narrating his story, how he came about, the pain that he has went through, the incident that he wanted to take his life. I could relate to what he's saying, and working in the community and also being a pastor in the local in locations, I know how people are going through a lot, and I know how, how this can be very strenuous and very hard for people to deal with. So hence, definitely I understand it has not been easy. It's not even luck, it's beyond luck. Him rising from the mess, rising from the pain, and seeing the good side of him, even after when everything that happened in his life, it actually, said a different story, or it actually said him as a different person to what actually he came. So it is the blessing of God. It is God's grace, because some people, they take their lives. Indeed, some people, they lose their life, they lose their family members, depression comes, and yeah, it is just the grace of God.
Yes, ungalala nayo without a condom as long uthatha kahle usuppress. Ngeke uyithole HIV, yes.
HIV jo.
As a youth coach, HIV and anti-drug activist, Mlungisi published a few books about his life experiences, but his groundwork speaks for itself.
Mina ngisiza abantu abaningi, abanye abantu ngize ngibakhohlwe. Ngisiza abantu abaningi njengoba ngisho ukuthi impilo yami eningi ngihlale kakhulu eMpumalanga for 7 years. Isho manje, isho ngahlola noma kuphi eMpumalanga. Nginama relative uNkulunkulu angivusela bona. Nginabantu abaningi ezikole ngisebenza kakhulu ngabantu abasha. uNkulunkulu ngumuntu omusha, uNkulunkulu wenza ngamasibomo wathi Mlungisi ngena kulesimo ngoba usasemncane uphume kusona ukhona uzobuya usiza abantu abasha. Nabantu abaningi abasha ngibathathile ngabasema rehab. Kodwa before ay rehab uqala la kimi ngiyomtshela ukuthi rehab ayisi solution uthi ungaqalisha ukuqala. Number 2 rehab ngeke kusize ungakafunda ukusizakala. Kufana nomuntu ungaya ejele uhlala 10 years 15 years ijele limshintsha umuntu up until uzuthatha decision. Yingakho ke nje nginabantu abasha abaningi ngibathathayo ngiba organizela weshama workshop as a order ngumbhali wencwadi as a order ngiyaba organizela nokulanda iNational Arts Council bala eNewtown eJozi ngibalande ngibase kuleyo province for information ukuthi mawumbhali ubhala kanjani njalo ba workshop nani nokusebenzisana namanye ama foundation asekhulile owasephumelele kule ndima engihambayo.
After all what has happened, he's grateful for the second chance to make a difference through his foundation.
Kudingakala abantu abafana njengami abadlulile emlilweni badlula kuleso simo ongenile ama drugs waphuma ema drugsini sidinga prevention ukugijima ama honest campaign ezikoleni anytime ukushumayelele leli vangelo ukuthi abantu abasha ama drugs awabuyisile abantu abasha ubugebengu ngabukhokheli ungangena ejele unegative njengami uphuma positive. Sidinga abantu abadlulile kuleso simo. Muningi umsebenzi osadinga kodwa sidinga abantu abafana njengami abazogijima anytime bengabheke enzuzo bahambe willing ukusiza abanye abantu.
Is an angel in the field of activism. I just wish maybe people can see him do his magic. This chap, it's amazing. It's a blessing to the program which I'm leading under this big institution. It's a blessing to the world of activism. It's a blessing to the province of Gauteng, to Tshwane, and the country at large. So we wish that those that are holding powers, please call him, invite him for social programs, see how he works, and then support him in terms of material so that he can do this without any barriers.
Into engifisa is for him to flourish. It's for God to open doors for him and for this good gospel, to be preached to the people. When I'm not just talking about iBhayibheli, but I'm talking about ukuthi zonke lezi zinto zaziwe.
Abantu abaningi, they are not knowledgeable. Abantu abaningi ezinye sizithola estradini, we are not knowledgeable, like about HIV. Abanye abantu, they don't know much, and that is why even how they treat abantu abane-HIV, it's not really nice and not acceptable. So into engiyifisa ukuthi nje kuvuleke iminyango, people to know and to accept him so that he can bring this information and for God to use him.
This has always been my prayer hore a fitlhele di-dreams tsa high as a person, because o change maphelo a rena as outsiders, o change maphelo a the people at work, at the campaigns that he's doing, but lo bophelo ba hae bo change ke mmone tsa tsile leng a nyetse Mlungisi. Ne ke tla lo motho re mechomi, as much as o bolelo re wena basadi wa batjhabela ke ra motho nyana, because that will now bring focus more on you. As much as re bola taba ya gore suppression e khona gore motho a be le motho a ska mo fa HIV a be le bana le ena, then ke nyaka gore a be le family Mlungisi, then a gole ebe out e leng gore ya bona ga re go ntlong a shi e phusha lapa e phusha bana e focused as much as at Tusas charm. Therefore I wish him all the best. Ke rapela gore modimo a mo fe his heart's desire. Obviously each and every man they have desires in their hearts. Therefore I am praying gore modimo a mo fe tsotlhetsela a dinyakang yena ga mopelong ya hae.
Ngiyakubonga ukudlula kwami kuzo zonke, uNkulunkulu angiyekelele kuzo zonke, ngingene kuzo zonke lezi zinto ngisasemncane ukuze ngibuye ngizosiza abanye abantu. Ngithi ke I'm proud ukudlula kuzo zonke lezi zinto.
It is never the end of the world for as long as you breathe. We hope this has inspired you to get up and start all over again. From all of us at Stories Untold, keep well. See you next week, same place, same time. Dada.